This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Dan Kneece started filming motion pictures at age 13 when his mother bought him a Super 8 camera. In 1979, while finishing his master's in media arts at the University of South Carolina, Dan learned Steadicam from its originator, Garrett Brown, which led to a 28-year career as a Steadicam operator and ongoing work with director David Lynch on films such as Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, and Mulholland Drive. Hello, Dan. Welcome.
Hey, Dan, do you have any apps running in the background?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Yeah, see if you want to close them out to give us a little more bandwidth.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, I've got all kind of good things going on back here.
Well, a couple of them is making your audio hard to hear.
Hey, by the way, while you're doing that, I had this is my Garrett Brown story.
Okay.
I had him. I run this local user group here in Los Angeles, and he came to demo for us when he was. He had that little Steadicam that I forget what it's called, but he ended up selling it to Tiffin. But he was demonstrating that thing. And he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life. He's just he's an extraordinary. And a lot of people don't remember he did a lot of radio commercials back in the '80s, as well as developing these Steadicam. And he's a fascinating guy.
He's the voice of Molson Gold.
Right, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, he was terrific. I mean, it's a really great guy, and obviously a master at what he invented.
So Dan? What first caught your attention about the Steadicam, and when was that?
I learned Steadicam in 1982 from Garrett. I took a workshop at Image Devices in Miami. I was living in South Carolina at the time, where I grew up, and I'd been enamored with it, and I went down and saw it, and the first time Garrett picked it up, he let go of it and just hung it on that arm like voodoo, like it was floating out in the air. And I said, that's a really cool thing. I really am glad I'm learning how to do that. Once I did that, then I moved back, or I went back to South Carolina, where I'm from, and I started working in the North Carolina film business. And I was the only one there at the time in that area doing Steadicam. And so I started working at a studio, Earl Owensby Studios in Shelby, North Carolina, and we made blow 'em up and shoot 'em up movies. We had like tractor trailers full of bombs, and we'd shoot a person. We wouldn't shoot them once; we'd shoot them like 100 times. We'd put 100 hits on their chest and shoot them with a submachine gun, and they'd die in slow motion for half an hour, you know. And so then, I did about 6 movies for Earl, and then I got a chance to work on this movie, Blue Velvet. I'd been hitting up Dino De Laurentiis' studio in Wilmington, North Carolina, and they tried to hire me on a few films, and then they said, well, we got this movie, Blue Velvet, you want to do it? And I said, sure, I'll do it. And then I got there, and I looked at the call sheet, and I said, who's directing this? And it said David Lynch. And I'd seen Dune, and my buddies and I had seen Dune, and we thought Dune was the greatest thing. And so we said, if there's anybody in the business we can work with, we'd love to work with David Lynch. And there I was working with David Lynch. It was I couldn't sleep all night. I just
yeah. He'd done Elephant Man by that time too, and which wasn't a slacker movie either. So he had a pretty good rep.
Yeah. No, he'd done Elephant Man, and he'd done Eraserhead.
Eraserhead, yeah.
And Elephant Man's a wonderful movie if you've ever seen that. You know, that's a great film, wonderfully done. And so I did Blue Velvet with him. I only did a few shots on it, but that led to an ongoing career where I've done now Blue Velvet, Wild Heart, Twin Peaks, Firewalk with Me, Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, and some commercial work and stuff for the internet and things like that. And he's getting ready to do 9 more episodes of Twin Peaks now.
Yeah, and then we just read that maybe not. You know, there's something happening it may not be happening. I don't know. David Lynch is...
I've seen a couple things online, but I don't really put too much faith in that.
Yeah, neither do I. So we figure you know. So what's the answer? Is it going to happen or not?
I wish I had an answer for you, but all I've done is I've said I would like to do them. So and if they happen, maybe I'll get a chance. That's what I'm hoping.
Dan, let's put your DP hat on for a second. How would you describe the collaborative process between the DP and the director? maybe between you and Mr. Lynch, but also between you and other directors. How do you work out that teamwork?
Well, different directors are different. You know, some are very technical directors and like to want to deal a lot with the technology. Some only want to work with actors, and some are good at both things. And so you have to kind of, people are individuals. So you have to try to figure out how that you can relate to this new person. You know, I mean, I've had a lot of experience as an operator, being in the inner circle with the DP and the director, and us planning what we're going to do together. So it's just an extension of that, really. I mean,
you know, I tell you, I was an actor, and a long time ago, and back in a past life, Steadicam operators, between a good one and a not so good one, the good ones can always anticipate an actor's move. And even though you've blocked it out and you've still got marks to hit and everything like that, that Steadicam operator can anticipate the actor is the Steadicam operator who gets all the work. And hopefully you're one of those guys, because that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I did Steadicam for 28 years. I don't do it anymore, but I figured 28 years was long enough.
Your back is hurting you. Yeah.
You carry 100 pounds for 18 hours a day for 28 years. You know, you're kind of ready to try something different after a while. And but you know, I was a very good Steadicam operator, and I was in demand. You know, I was in '96. I turned down 6 jobs for every job I took.
What makes for a good Steadicam operator? What tips do you have to be successful?
Well, you have to be a professional, and you have to have an eye. And
that eye is huge.
It really is, and you have to interpret things. I mean, I teach at a lot of universities. I go around and lecture at AFI and UCSB and University of South Carolina when I went to school, and other universities around. And I tell the students that our job is 2% what they hire us to do, and 98% people skills. You know, and because you have to be a bit of a psychiatrist to really pull this job off, because you have to, if you got a day job, you got a couple of hours to figure out everybody on the set, who does what makes them work, and how to get your job done amongst all these personalities. If you're on a longer job, you have a couple of days, or else you're out of there. You know, you really have to figure all that out.
Yeah, get along with people. Get along with people.
Yeah, you do, and you have to pull out if the director wants you to do something, sometimes they'll tell you, I want you to do this. But it's really not what they want you to do. They want you to do something completely different. They describe it that way.
That's where interpretation comes in.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you have to figure out what they really want and then give them that. And if you can do that, you'll be working a lot.
Yeah, good.
You know, this is one of those things where we've just barely got ourselves started talking, and I need to invite you back because there's so many stories and how this whole technology piece works. And I think you're exactly right when you talk about people skills. For people that want to learn more about you, where can they go on the web?
I'm on LinkedIn. My website is www.dankneece, DANKNEECE.com.
That's all one word, DANKNEECE, DanNeece.com. And the Dan Kneece himself is the face you see on the screen. Dan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye-bye.